Hello there, Rhinohorn125, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Walking Dead comic book action figure, Rick Grimes. I myself have just begun reading the comics. I've known a lot about him, I've watched a lot of videos throughout the time of the Walking Dead to know both sides, but I never actually had a chance to buy them, but recently I've been, watching them on YouTube, Motion Comics on YouTube. So if you guys aren't able to buy them, which I eventually do want to, they're just really big, thick ones, and they're expensive. So whenever I get a chance to do that, I'll definitely buy the Walking Dead comics. I love the comics, I would say, just as much as the show. I care about the characters in it just as much, especially Andrea. She's a real piece of work in the show, and she's a beloved character in the comics, one of my favorites. But anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at the package here. So first things first, get a nice look at Rick himself in the package. And on the front here, you know, it's a Walking Dead logo. It shows a bloody Rick Grimes here with his missing hand. Top here, there's a nice picture of him from the comic itself. And then on the back, another nice picture of Rick from an angle. It says exclusively from Skybound Entertainment and Macfarlane Toys. Limited edition Rick action figure includes hatchet, cane, and revolver. And then on the back here, it has the three comic books there. So yeah. All right, so that's basically the package. Now let's get Rick out of the package. Okay, so here Rick is out of the package, and he stands overall well. If you can tell here, this leg kind of goes to the side a bit, but actually that is a leg that he broke, so which is why he needs his cane. And they have a nice thing to have him. Didn't really know, but there's a hole here, and then there's a little peg on his hand to hold the cane. Now, one thing though, you're probably not, how does he hold the revolver in this? And they also have holes in there, so that is a nice touch that they did. No complaint from me there, and you know, I think that's, if they're gonna use it for the cane, they might as well, you know, instead of having a switch around here, might as well use it for the other thing. So I think that was pretty smart. Anyway, here is the cane. Basically just, you can tell it's supposed to be wood, and at the end it's kind of, you know, shaped out like a cane. And it's got this thing here, and then there's the hole in the top. So not a lot of detail going on there, but just enough. Nothing too fancy, but you know, pretty nice. So, and then it's also kind of a flimsier plastic, not rubbery, but somewhat flimsy, which is alright. Next thing is the axe, which is now my second of this. The other one I have came with the other comic book Rick Grimes I have, just has blood on it, and this also looks nice. I kind of like the paint job on this one a bit more, because the other one just had a flat gray color until you get to about where this little dink in the blade is, and then it just goes into this color. So I like that the whole thing on this one is this silver with a bit of gray wash in it. I think that looks nice. And then the handle as well, I like the dark brown in there, and then the shaping, and you can tell it's wood. The other one, it was more of a light color, and it looked more of a manufactured type wood. It was just lighter. But this is the machete later on, I guess, since he's older here, and it's the same machete. So, machete. So sorry about that. Hatchet. So yeah, really no complaints. I just prefer this one. This one looks nicer. They did a better job on it. So next is his revolver, which also looks very nice. It's a bit grimed up compared to the first one, which again makes sense considering, you know, this is him older. Handle here looks pretty nice, as well as the gun itself. Nice paint wash in there and all that. So yeah, very nice accessories. Now to articulation. Articulation, his arm fully rotates here, goes up that much, in that much. It bends at the elbow, I would say a decent amount. And then he goes backward at the elbow a bit. I guess if you want, you can turn the arm around, but then it just kind of doesn't really line up. Swivels at the elbow as well, quite a way, all the way around. Swivels up here at the middle forearm. No swivel on the wrist here because it's his fake hand, or prosthetic hand, I guess. And then on the other arm, goes up same amount, goes down, and swivels around the same. And then the bending in the arm over here is a bit better because the sleeve, the way it's rolled up over here, and then it has the prosthetic hand. And then the hand itself swivels a half wrist point as always, and as well swivels at the wrist, and then goes side to side at the wrist, and then swivels around. And he also has some waist articulation there. Almost felt like he was going to pop off, but it didn't. And then goes forward quite a ways there, as well as back, and then he can also do the splits, which I personally don't like doing that, because I feel like it's a tiny little thing in there, and I don't really want to mess it up. And then bends at the knee that much, and then also swivels at the knee, and then the boot here, somewhat of an ankle pivot here, and then goes down at the boot that much, and up at the boot. But the only problem I'd say with these in standing is that you have to always put these down, the feet, just like with my other one. I have trouble with them standing. I always have to pull the foot down to make them stand completely right where it doesn't look awkward. That would be my only complaint with this one as well, is the movability in the feet. But, I mean, the way they do these, it'd be kind of hard to make it not do this. So, yeah. Not too much to complain about there. It's the articulation. Now I will be doing size comparison, but before I do that, I did forget to show the head articulation. Looks up quite a decent amount, as well as down, and then his head does fully rotate, and it is on kind of a ball socket kind of thing, so he just kind of moves around like that. But forgot about doing that, so let's get him stood up here. So here he is next to Deputy Rick Grimes from Season 1 and Prison Rick Grimes. Which, they're basically all about the same height. This one here is a little taller because this one legs bent, and then he's kind of back here on his tippy toe a little bit, but all basically the same size and pretty good size. And here he is next to Season 5, Rick Grimes and Lee from the Telltale Walking Dead game, which Lee is one of my favorite Walking Dead characters, even considering the fact that he's not really connected to the TV show. He's more connected to the comics, I'd say. I'm pretty sure it is. The games are actually connected to the comics, and they're made to look like comics, so makes sense. But I have not done a review on this one. I don't know if I'm going to. I just got it for Christmas, but I may, so stay tuned for that if I do. But yeah, pretty good size there as well. Here he is next to himself, which is the slightly younger version of Rick Grimes when he first started out. And as you can see, I have him all done up here. He's got the hatchet that I was talking about, which I do like. I like the blood and stuff, but I kind of prefer the new one. And then I also have a backpack on him and stuff, because I had these displayed, so they got some stuff on them. But yeah, pretty good size there. And see the leg, what I'm talking about, shouldn't be doing that. But I have to get it posed just right with the legs to make it look not all awkward. And I think this is the pose right here, but yeah. So, yeah, again, pretty good size. Okay, now to show how well his weapons and cane fit in his hand. So first off, the cane. I'm going to go ahead and place this in his hand here on that little peg. So, well, this does here. And yeah, so I think that works pretty well. You bend his leg a little bit, you can get it right on the ground, and try to make him not fall. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty good, and he stands pretty well, and the peg fits on there pretty nicely. So yeah, and when you take it out from underneath him, if you have him lean forward, obviously he's gonna fall. So be careful of that. Even though it stays in there a good amount, it doesn't fit super snug. You can push it on there, but if you want it out, you just barely have to do anything. But I wouldn't worry about it getting loose or anything. Here he is with his gun in his hand. The only thing I could say about this, although it fits very nicely, is that since it was made mainly for the cane, that it doesn't have the trigger finger, so I'm kind of going against what I said earlier. It would have been nice if they added an extra hand for the gun, but they didn't, so that kind of sucks. One other thing with the gun, let's see, because this is going to be a bummer if this didn't fit in there nicely, and it does, so yeah, gun fits perfectly in the holster there, so that's nice. It is with the hatchet, which I think fits very nice in there, and again, same thing with the gun because it's mainly posed for the cane. The hand doesn't actually look like it's gripping, it's just kind of like that, and it's just on there, but, you know, it's alright, you know, no real complaint there, especially if you put it at an angle, who's going to tell, and it doesn't really matter all that much, so not really any complaint there. Okay, now let's get to the details of this figure. And before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and say that this hand here, as I was saying, the way it is, you can easily take the hand off of the younger comic book Rick Grimes and put it on this one, because they're the same type of action figure, and it would fit perfectly. So, yeah, if you have both and you were going to take a picture of one of them or something, or you wanted him displayed holding the gun and wanted to make it look more natural, then yeah, you can do that. But let's get to detail. So first things first, head sculpt looks very nice, I'd say. One thing I did notice is, if you can kind of tell right there where there's that line, it's not all that noticeable even in life, but you know, there's kind of like a somewhat of a noticeable line where it goes from one color to the next, because it's the same color, but there's a black line in between. Not that noticeable, but certain lighting, it's very easily noticed. But yeah, overall head sculpt itself looks very nice, comic book accurate. The hair sculpt and the face, the eyes, I like that they made his eyes kind of more squinty, I guess, a little stern eyes. Here's his shirt, nice wrinkles in the shirt, and a bit of, you know, dirtiness in the shirt there as well, weathering. And then the hand here, looks pretty nice. It looks great right there. They actually have the line, 2 bolts in the arm there. And then have this thing here, and nice detailing and coloring on the hand itself, which I can separate these real quick. Yeah, there, that looks better. And then the belt here looks great as well, nice texturing in the belt. And then the pants look nice too, and they even got some scuffing on the pants there, like they're ripped, which looks good. And then the boots look pretty nice too, and then there's a hand, which also looks great. So overall, pretty good detail. Nothing extremely special, but nice, so nothing to complain about. And then also, just like the other one, you can stick this here and there, but you have to get his arm at an angle so you don't end up like snapping it or something, which I don't really want to waste my time doing that right now. But anyway, yeah, so that is the Rick Grimes figure. Only things to say is about this one, to complain about, not really much. I would just say it'd be better if he came with another hand, but like I said, you can just put the hand on this one if you know, want to do that for any reason. But overall, he stands better than my other one, even considering the fact that he has a bent leg, which it's meant to be like that, because of the cane holding. But all in all, great figure, 5 out of 5, I would say. It's very rare that I get a figure that is below a 5, because normally I make sure to look at figures before I get them, watch a review on them, or look at reviews and, you know, see how I like them. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more reviews to come. I got a few more here. Yeah, see you guys later. Bye.